Alright, my name is Nefarious Yodel, and in this one I wanted to show you guys how you can play around your enemy jungler and your own jungler with you playing in the top lane, presuming that you have some sort of pressure on the level 1. Now, I'm playing Gnar against Riven, which means that on the early levels, at least I have that range advantage, right? Just inherently makes me able to, you know, just get near this turret and just like try to catch the incoming minion wave with a Q, right? I have that pressure. I can do this. I can probably shove this wave and make sure that Riven just has to pretty much deal with what I give her, right? I can just decide what the lane is like. It's up to me. She'll just have to accept it. So I don't do this entirely correctly. My boomerang only hits 2 minions, but ignoring that for a second, I do a shove. I try to auto-attack the minions all the time, clear them, even use my boomerang to clear them. And the poke, I did poke her a little bit at times where I thought I could do it, but my main priority is just making sure I hard shove this, right? Just shove, 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 as quick as I can. Make sure that I get as many minions as well, but just make sure that it's really, really quick. So these hit the turret just barely in time, right? They still aggro the turret and not these minions, so that's good. So now what I want to do is, well, Lee Sin, if you look at Lee Sin, I just want to first look at his route. As you can tell, he just cleared his 3 camps at 2 minutes and 33 seconds. Now, if Gragas does a 3 camp route, I can not show you that right now because I have it on a VOD. I can't show you in Discord, in OBS, but you'll just have to take my word for it. It's 2 minutes and 35 seconds, right? Blank, right? Pretty good jungler. Well, he does it in 2 minutes and 35 seconds, so just take my word for it. Alright, so that's seconds apart, right? So the reason Gragas is much slower, I didn't actually notice that during the game, little bit of bad awareness here, but the reason is because he took an extra camp, and in my opinion, huge blunder. I feel like if you're playing Gragas against Lee Sin, you want to be able to scout him out, try to battle for the Rift Scuttler, right? Like, because this gets much closer to your side. Remove the bomb plant here so you have an inherent advantage on this side of the map. If it was the other side of the map, I would be much more understanding if you just, say, warded a tri-brush for a top laner if they didn't do it on their own. You could also just not do that and just take some more camps. So in other words, Gragas' strategy works better on this side of the map because you just have less pressure, right? But Gragas, if he does his 3 camp strategy, he can get the Scuttler and try to mitigate Lee Sin's pressure. Alright, anyway, moving on. I know that Lee Sin is going to be ahead of Gragas by a large margin, right? I see that Gragas is now only barely starting the buff. I didn't know why this was, so I presumed he would only need like 10 more seconds to clear it. I didn't notice that he didn't start it yet. I'm only looking at this from a minimap. You could blame me for that, for not spamming the F keys, but that's just how I'm dealing with this. Alright, so I scouted the tri-brush, and look at this. Riven, right, is right here. And Lee Sin is right here. Who wins? I'm level 2, right? And Lee Sin is level 3. That's the problem with junglers right now. They level way too quickly. Now, who do you think wins this 1v1? Any guesses? Any guesses? Who wins a 1v1 against Lee Sin, who's a level up on you? Is an early game jungler with like a lot of damage, right? Damage heavy jungler with double buffs. Level up. Just take a wild guess who's gonna win that. And then on top of that, if the fight ever extends, there's a Riven right here ready to move in on me, right? So what do you do against that? You scout him out, and then you go back to your lane and catch these minions, right? I already stole him a little bit by actually walking into him a little bit, but I already missed a minion from that, so I could also already argue that's not good. Now guess what's happening here? The Gragas took a 4 camp route, and somehow, like I can tell you how, he did his camp mechanics so poorly and wasted so much time that he's just barely not in time to finish this. Because I can tell you right now, it doesn't take 20 seconds to clear wolves, so he could have been there in time. So now let's just skip back a little bit and watch him actually do his little route. So let's see this, right? So he walks in there here with a barrel and a Q. So what does he do? Alright, toss out the barrel. Good. He drinks up. Should you drink up? I disagree. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you should auto drink up. I haven't watched Gragas players play though, so let's just look at this. Alright. Now he kills off the minions in their entirety. He doesn't dump you on the main one. He just kills them off entirely and then just goes for this, right? And he has barrel up. He just wastes a few seconds with his barrel. These little things, I can tell you, normally that is not the biggest deal. But against an early game pressure jungler like Lee Sin, you have to learn the camp mechanics. Watch a challenger player do it, and just emulate it, dude. Just do it exactly like they do. There's nothing special about it. You just have to do it the way they do it. Very simple stuff. And you have to kite forward. You have to kite his wolves to over here, because that's how you do it, right? First of all, you take less damage, and second of all, you're closer to your blue buff. You win like 2 seconds. Guess what? How many seconds he needed here to outplay Lee Sin? He needed 2 seconds, right? So, okay. So here you have your E leveled up, and he doesn't level it. He doesn't level his E, he levels it now. So he could walk in here, throw a barrel E in, auto W, right? That's how you cleared his buff. So what he does is, he walks rightwards, then he walks leftwards, and then he just, like, walks over the wall, charges his, like, throw a barrel! Throw a barrel! He autos, walks back, gets hit anyway. That's not how you kite a buff, right? And then he throws out his barrel. And in the meanwhile, he's still sitting on his E. He's just not using it on the buff. So he is wasting over 10 seconds with his clear, right? Like, over 10 seconds. That's a boatload of time if the Lee Sin has to come in here. So I scout him here, and guess what? Well, now he's going to be in time trouble, right? Now, he could try, what he could do, he has his E up, so what he can do is keep this in the brush. So you can just barrel this, right? And just smite it, right? But what he does, he walks out, he doesn't barrel it, he gets hit by the buff again, by the way, and then he smites it with, like, 65 health, right? And it's like, whoops, now I lost my buff. Okay, well, now you're fucking dead, right? Because the Q is on you. And guess what he does? Oh, he flashes, oh boy, he flashes. What a move. Because, you know, the way you escape a Lee Sin second Q is by flashing, right? Oh, no, wait, he can just activate it again, never mind, right? And if you look at my strategy, pretty consistent, right? Minor chances for improvement, I will give you that much. I didn't get the perfect CS, I didn't get the perfect shove, right? I didn't look at my jungler's route, I didn't stall him for a few more seconds, but look at this. This is pretty crisp. This is pretty good. Like, you can go to, like, you don't need to do better than this, let's say it that way. And what do you think the Gragas took away from this, right? Did he take away from this, do a level 3 route against Lee Sin, so that it's not as easy to get invaded? Or do you think he took away from this, learn the camp mechanics, look up a VOD, and maybe just learn that you do a Q, and then you E in, and then you auto W, right? Like, before they get the first auto, and you can do auto W, then you get the damage reduction on that auto attack from the buff. And you get maximum damage output. Best of both worlds. And you do it the quickest way possible. Best of all 3 worlds, right? What more can you want? Quickest, most damage, least amount of damage tanked, right? And that's all you have to do. Just learn it, right? But that's not, I will tell you right now, that's not what the Gragas took away from this. What the Gragas took away from this is that in this situation earlier, look at this. When I go out to ward, he's trying a level 3 gank, right? He could have just walked straight up, he could have W'd over this wall and walked straight up and just Q'd here, right? Or take the bomb plant, because he didn't take that. So just take the bomb plant and Q here. He could have done any of those things, right? So is it my obligation as a top laner to just keep him there? Look at this. There's a minion wave right here. Right? There's a minion wave right here. Is it my obligation to auto the Lee Sin here and try to 1v1 him? I don't have my E yet. Of course not. So this is one of these things. And the funny thing is, I played this game out and I didn't get tilted. And you know why not? This is the biggest reason behind getting tilted, right? Like, the Gragas got tilted, I did not. You know why? Because I'm following a plan. I'm a man with a plan, right? Like, I know I have a strategy. I have a 3-wave strategy. I know what the Lee Sin can do. I notice what the Gragas does, and I play around it the best possible way, right? By scouting him out, giving Gragas that info, he can now just finish this buff with his barrel. If he ever used his abilities here, he could have finished off the buff, and he could have either E'd out or flashed out, or at least just get away. And he doesn't do that. That's not on me. So I'm alright with that. I know I'm gonna lose games like that over stuff like that. As long as I'm playing in the island, no matter how good I am, I'm not gonna win every game, right? That's just the reality of it. And if I were better, I would win more games. If you have if you have those reasonable expectations, right, and you have a game plan, if you have those two things, then it's very, very hard to get tilted. So that's my commentary, not just on what exactly the game plan is here as a top laner and how you can analyze that, but also on how to deal with tilt situations like this, right? Where someone is starting to flame you and you have to deal with it. So that's it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed that little commentary there. Hope you guys maybe learned a little bit about top lane, right? How you can do a 3-wave strategy. Not everyone I see in my elo does this, so I really hope you guys can use that to your advantage. Right? Push the first 2 waves, back off on the 3rd wave, go out and scout the jungler out. You can't get ganked that way. It's a brilliant strategy. Hope you guys can use it. See you in the next one.